success, yeah. I am power, I am strength, yeah. I can do anything, life's not perfect, but it's worth it. When you find what truly matters inside, I'm dedicated, motivated to be the best. Millionaire mom, millionaire mom.
Failure is just another platform or a springboard for you to jump and go do more. So you can't let things stop you. You can't let fear get in your way. You can't let failure get in your way. There are gonna be bumps. It's not a matter of if the bump in the road is gonna come, but when it's gonna come. Because you're always gonna go through things in life, but those things come to you to sharpen you. As you put your hands to something and you start doing, you learn in the process. You know, it goes back to that old saying, sink or swim. You know, the way that you learn how to swim is they throw you in the water and you sink or swim, right? So I found myself in a place where I was just diving into different things, making myself either sink or swim and finding out, is this something that I'm really gonna apply and put myself into? Finding that right arena or finding that right thing that you're supposed to have your hands on or that you're supposed to be doing. You know, when you tap into that, that's when you find your true strength.
I've always found a way to make some money, and I always found a way to bring some income into the house. Sometimes during success, you can climb so high and climb so fast, but you forget the individuals that even got you there. And I want to talk about that because sometimes we don't typically talk about that.
We started moving arm to arm together. We locked arms and started moving together with this company. And now we moved from 4-figure checks to 5-figure checks. So I found myself in a position where I had to make a decision. Do I continue trading time for money, or do I go over here where I really can apply myself, apply my giftings that I have, and we can go out and talk to a community of people and influence and inspire them to even do more in their field of expertise. Yes, we were knocked down, we went through bankruptcy, we went through foreclosure, we moved a few times in that process just to be able to maintain and do what we had to do. God gave us a sample of what it could look like, and then he took us back, but he took us back so that we won't forget where we started. Success is walking from failure to failure without the loss of enthusiasm.
In Gregg and our season of building, it didn't look like what it looked like now, where now we're at a place where we can relax, we can go work on and focus on multiple streams, okay, even outside of our network marketing business. In our season of building, we were in the grind, we were working, 6 hours sometimes straight without eating, 8 hours straight, 10 hours straight without eating. You may think, wow, they're at this place now, but many people didn't see us when we were in that strong season of building, meaning we were just in the grind, getting it in.
So often we see a lot of people that they'll look at this person that's on the team and say, well, I wish I had what they had, or they look at this person and say, I wish I had what they were doing. But at the end of the day, nobody can run your race like you. Everybody is running their own race in life. I can't run your race, you can't run mine, but my race is just as important as your race. But what happens is you're trying to run my race, but you can never keep up with my pace in my race.
I started working during the day, sometimes around noon. Gregg would call me, what do we need to do? During his lunch hours, he was doing a 3-way calls. He was following up with customers. He was following up with potential business owners that will ultimately come into our business and be leaders. You see what I'm saying?
But one thing that my wife and I, we've always had, and this is something my dad instilled in me a long time ago, and that's that drive to always handle your business and do what you got to do.
It has now resulted us in building a multiple $million entity for our organization. But again, when we talk about seasons, we got to understand the work that is needed in that season and the different things that we can do during those seasons.
Those things come to you to strengthen you.
If you haven't lived it, you wouldn't understand it.
You know, anybody can be rich, but to be wealthy means that I not only have enough money for me, but I have enough money for generations and generations to come. My money is making money. You never put all your eggs in one basket. You want to have multiple streams of income. I've seen a show where all of a sudden within 1 to 2 years, they're now broke again because they never went through a process to understand that in order for you to get to that level and maintain at that level, there are certain things that are along the way you have to learn. So sometimes you see people and they want success, they want it right now. I need it now, I need it now. I see Gregg and Lenika Scott. I see what they've been able to do in life. I want what they have. I need it now, 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 now. But the weight of it all will crush you. You don't understand the weight of being at this level in the game because more money, more problems, right? More money, more weight, more issues, more people, more things you have to deal with, more fires you have to put out.
On those days when you just, you're kind of chilling and you really don't have as much to do, and he say, call so-and-so, and then you call them, and that would be the very person that was thinking about an opportunity, and now they're signed up like that, and now they're in business. And so, the things that I want to share even right now is just be sensitive, listen to your heart.
It's important that you walk through a process and you allow that process to let you grow. But here's what happens. Most people will start out on a journey. And it is in that journey you start walking through that process. But in that process, they quit because they say this is too hard. But it's in the process where you're sharpened. It is in the process where you're strengthened, you're toughened. It is in the process where you build that mental fortitude to be able to handle, not only achieve that level, but to maintain that level.
So time at this level is very different now. And what I mean by that is, of course, to build any type of business, and especially and particularly in direct sales up to a multiple $million status, there's a lot going on. First of all, your family, for those of you who have family, I can say particularly there's so much, with daughters, 6 daughters, and also a husband, everyone have their own need. Then there's the business need.
Here's an important thing about multiple streams of income. You have to be able to successfully compartmentalize each stream. A confused mind does nothing, right? So you have to compartmentalize the different things that you do. You can't take and commingle things because when you commingle them, that's when you start creating confusion.
So you have to really have that focus to carve out specific moments of time on your schedule.
And I say this to all of the women out there. If you're with a man and he's not putting you before him, then that may not be the man for you, because a man, when he holds something close to his heart and he cherishes it, he's always going to put that before his needs. So I'm that guy, or I'm that father, that husband, or that person that always puts my wife, my children's needs before mine.
The higher you go up, the more valuable you get. And so the more precious every single second, every single minute, every single hour is upon your schedule. And so you have to really have that focus to carve out specific moments of time on your schedule, and you have to be able to really compartmentalize and categorize people.
I come from a small rural town, Enfield, North Carolina. And if Gregg Scott from Enfield, North Carolina can go out here and find his way, find success, then you can do the same thing too.
In business, we're always encouraging people to put your why before you. You gotta know your why. And one of my biggest whys is my children, my legacy. Those 6 daughters, when I look at their beautiful faces, when I hear even some of the things that they want to do, that is what keeps me moving. Creating the brand of the Millionaire Mom definitely requires and takes balance. My husband and I, we have learned how to create balance in our busy lifestyles.
Yeah, absolutely. We've learned and still learning, right? When we look at life, we take this approach, and this is what we always do in everything, but God first, family second, and then work third. So when you're looking at creating that balance, guys, it is a daily task, a daily thing that we have to go through because we have a busy household.
And one of the things that I've learned to do, just to even create the balance centered around God, is just daily prayer. I've been hosting a prayer call for about 9 years now. Prayer is such a huge part of our life, and one of the main things that it does do, it calms you. Instead of just getting up, starting your day, we seek God. We seek God for wisdom. We seek God for knowledge. We seek God for instructions. And what will happen is we'll find that the days that we really make sure that we are seeking God are the days that we're kind of flowing even in peace. And so even when you talk about balance, balance also encompasses peace, because when you have a busy life, a busy schedule, whether you're in business, whether you're in ministry, or just even being married and having children alone, you need peace. And it also helps with your sanity. It helps with your sanity when you're making business decisions. Also, it helps with sanity when you're even making decisions for your family. So that's one thing that I wanted to share, the importance of seeking God, the start of your day, because it also helps to orchestrate your day, and that also encompasses balance.
Absolutely. So even at the end of the day, when we reflect back, we look at, did I give God everything that I supposed to or should have given him that day? And guys, guess what? We don't always get it right. Like I was saying before, it is a daily thing that we have to practice each and every day, just like daily bread. So when we get up in the morning and we start our day off with prayer, we're asking God, guide our steps, order our steps for the day, God. Whoever we're supposed to encounter that day, let that happen. Let that intersection or that encounter happen. And whatever we are supposed to impart, let that be imparted. But whatever is supposed to be imparted into us, let us receive and be open enough to receive that.
And then, they also think about our family. We get asked the question, because we have so many children, how do you stay focused, still stay on the task at hand, being able to successfully sustain a business, but then also keeping your sanity and your peace with your family. So, family is so important. One thing that I try to teach, and it's something that I operate myself, of course, being a mom of 6 daughters, all of them don't need everything at the same time, but there's certain times and certain seasons where one may require even that much more attention. So I have had to learn how to be sensitive, to their needs. And so that also reflects, and it also encompasses balance, because what happens is I may have to steal away, talk to this child a little bit more, spend even that much more time with this child to make sure that their needs are also being met.
Yeah, a lot of times people ask us, my God, Gregg, Lenika, how do you do it? Well, my response is always controlled chaos. As the only man or male figure that's in the home with a wife and 6 daughters, guys, you've got to know that it has its set of challenges. Each and every one of the females have a totally different personality. So I've got to be able to cater to those different personalities without losing myself in the midst of that. People say, Gregg, how do you do it? And my response is always, I hide. So,
No, he doesn't.
Well, yeah, I don't hide, but because I always handle it, I always go forward with it. But when you're dealing with all of the different personalities, you have to handle each situation differently, and some of them delicately, because we have them all the way from a young adult to a teenager to a preteen to a elementary school child. And so we have a whole dynamic going on in the home, but at the end of the day, we bring it together and we make it all work, guys. If it looks easy from the outside, believe me when I tell you, it is not easy.
Because it is a learning process. And when you even talk about or think about how do we handle balance in business, one thing that I talk all the time about is making sure you write that list. Writing a list, it keeps you focused, and it keeps you focused on the task that it is at hand. I believe it was Benjamin Franklin who said, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So
Absolutely.
Even in putting God first, putting your family first, and even in business, you've got to make sure that you are planning things out, because it will help you in the overall scope of your business.
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. In business, you always got to have that approach where I have a goal in mind, right? So I have my big goal, but now in order to achieve my big goal, to effectively plan, I have to plan interval goals. So now every day I'm making my list. I'm making my list of tasks to make sure I'm hitting those interval goals, but it's always taking me towards the big goal. You know, so when you're looking at life and you're looking at your work, guys, what are you trying to do? What is your goal in mind? What status or what business goals do you have that you're trying to achieve on a daily basis? Because trust me when I tell you, if you're not making that list, you don't have that goal in mind when you make that list, and you're not planning, then you have what I like to call a shotgun approach, meaning a shotgun shell, when it's shot, it just scatters all over the place, and hopefully a couple of them will hit the target. But I like to take things from this aspect, and I call it the sniper approach, you know, because the sniper approach takes a lot less energy, a lot less resources, because it is a well thought out plan. And sometimes don't get too caught up in trying to make sure everything is perfect before you start. Because the most important thing in business is getting started. All right?
That's awesome. You know, I think about a lot of times people want to have a balanced life, but they don't do the small things. They don't work on the small things. And that's something that we have learned, getting up in the morning, making sure that to-do list is done, and even reflecting at night. And so if I didn't even accomplish, or let me just make it a little personal. If you didn't even accomplish the small things on that to-do list, it's okay. Just start back over tomorrow, put those things back on that list, and make those things priority, and you'll find that it will also calm you. You'll even be at more peace and a more fresh and state of mind, so that you can operate in God, you can operate in your family, and then also in business.
Absolutely, Lenika. You know, you hit on a very important note, guys, and that's reflecting at the end of each day. You know, when Lenika and I, we have our day ahead of us, we ask God to order our steps, we have our list in place, we've made sure that all of the kids are taken care of and their needs are being met. At the end of the day, we take that few minutes to just reflect. Did I give God everything that I needed to give God? Did I give God the proper time that I supposed to have given God? And I'm going to tell you guys, we don't always get it perfect. You know, when we look at the family, did the kids get all of their needs met? Did the kids get to school properly? Did we feed them properly? Did we help them with their homework? Did they get all of the things that they needed to accomplish done? And then when we look at work, when we're looking at reflecting back at work, when I made my list out, did I hit everything on my list? Did I accomplish the task that I had put in front of me for that day? If I didn't, no worries. Look, it's not a nuclear meltdown moment, right? But when you remake that list, you just add those items to the list for the next day. Now, you don't continue adding them to the list and you let it go on and on and on, because you want to make sure you are accomplishing those things you need to hit your goals. So guys, when you're looking at balance in life, you know, prioritize what's important to you. What are the things you need to get done? And like I said before, with Lenika and I, God first, family second, work third.
So what you want to do is find out your order, look at your life, examine the things that you have going on, and just make a list. Make it plain, and you'll find out that balance is definitely something that can be accomplished. One of the quotes that I always say, if it has been done, it can be done.
So guys, my name is Gregg Scott.
And this is Lenika Scott, your millionaire mom. If you fail to plan, then you fail. I believe it was Benjamin Franklin that said, if you fail to plan, then you fail to plan. Did I say that wrong? No. I think I said that wrong. I believe it was Benjamin Franklin that said, you want to talk about planning to, you want to talk about planning? That's funny. That's a blue moment. Okay. We trying to really feel y'all. You can roll it. Y'all got it. What is the next sentence?
Alright.
I was trying to think of something to add.
I think that was pretty solid.
You ready for it?
I thought we both was going to do something.
Okay.
You want to try to come up with something?
Yeah. I don't know if I like kind of.
Let's redo.
So you'll find out that balance is something that can be. So you'll find out and discover that balance is not only a process, but it can be done. One of the quotes that I often say, if it can be done.
Ding!
Millionaire mom. Millionaire.